What are you doing on Tuesday the 26th of September 2023? Because myself and Francesca Amber are coming to the Barbican Hall in London. Our event is called One Night Stand, and this one night event is all going to be about manifestation, crystal healing, and ridding your limiting beliefs to help you achieve your goals. We've curated an immersive experience that will leave you feeling inspired and empowered. Throughout the evening as well, we'll also have interactive exercises, we'll have empowering discussions, and the opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals on a similar journey towards personal growth and manifestation. There'll even be an opportunity for you to ask questions as well. This event is your chance to break free from the shackles of self-doubt and unleash your inner greatness. It's time to release those limiting beliefs that might be holding you back and step into your true potential. And if you want to come on your own, by all means do that. Single tickets are available and seating is totally unreserved, so you can even meet up with your spiritual friends and sit with them as well. Head to @CannyCrystals on Instagram and click the link in my bio. Tickets are limited, so secure your spot and be part of this transformative experience. Don't miss out on the chance to manifest your dreams and achieve your goals. We can't wait to see you there. Hello, you lovely lot. How are you all? I hope everyone is really good and that you've all had a fab week. It's hard to be jolly, isn't it, when there's so much shit going on in the world with Ukraine and Russia, and obviously the prices of things going up like petrol and diesel and gas and electric. So although this might only be just like, a 25-minute episode, I'm hoping that it's 25 minutes break for you to just sit back and relax, get away from what's going on, and that you can just pop this on and forget about the world for a bit. It's such a cool but busy week this week. So today, the day that this episode goes out, is Friday the 18th of March. Now today we see the full moon in Virgo, so I'm going to be doing some work around letting go of what no longer serves us and handing everything back over to the universe to do its job. And then tomorrow, Saturday the 19th, I'm running my first ever crystal workshop in Newcastle. So I'm super excited about this. It's been a long time coming. I've finished writing the crystal workshop content this week, and I'm just so excited to meet everyone that's attending. So if you come in, can't wait to meet you. And just to help people like choose the crystal that'll best suit them for their wants and needs, get meditating with them. We're going to learn about the history of crystal usage, how to get the best use out of your crystal, that kind of thing, what all different shapes mean. It's going to be intense, but hopefully amazing. I'm hoping to come home afterwards and just feel like so chilled and so zen as well, because obviously when you're meditating and things, and I know there's like a restorative yoga session just before that as well, which is basically an hour and a half to 2 hours of meditating and drums and things like that. It's going to be really, really good. I'm so excited. Don't worry if you couldn't attend this one for any reason though. I'm sure I'll be running more again in the future. The demand for it has been absolutely insane. So there were already so many people on the waiting list the other day when I had a look. I think there was like 17 people or something. And for those of you listening abroad or in a different part of the country, because I can see exactly where everyone listens from when I put this podcast up. And I have my regulars like Sherry, for example, who listens from Texas in the US every week without fail. So for people like that, I'm going to put my workshop online as well. But bear with me, obviously, because this might take a few months for me to do. I just want to have it all done professionally and lush, so it feels like you're really there with me. So I'm going to look into like getting a professional videographer to record it all, and then obviously get someone to edit it and things like that. So it might take a few months, but don't worry, I will get there. And then this Saturday is also, I did tell you it was a busy week. This Saturday is also day 75. Now, for those of you that have listened from the start of this year, you'll know that day 75 is finally bloody here. I can't wait for a nice little cheat meal. So I've been doing this diet now for 70, well, as of recording today, 72 days. But come Saturday, it'll be 75 days. So tomorrow, if you're listening to the podcast on the day of release, it's get confusing, doesn't it? But yeah, it's finally here. I can't wait for a nice little cheat meal. I've lost 24.8 pounds in total. Can you believe that? Like 25 pounds, just under, which is just under like 2 stone, isn't it? It's 3 pounds from 2 stone. I'm so impressed with myself. I've never ever stuck to a diet longer than 2 weeks. So 75 days for me is a real achievement. I'm really proud of myself for actually doing it as well. I've been carrying around my appetite crystal, palm stone that I have. Now, appetite's really good for suppressing your appetite. Ironically, it's spelt differently. Appetite, it's APATITE. But it's really good for suppressing your appetite and suppressing cravings and giving you willpower and strength. And I really feel like that's really helped me along the way as well. Because, like I say, I did start doing this with Josie, one of my PTs, and I think she fell off the wagon on like day 33 or something. She had a really bad injury and she wasn't going to be able to train twice a day. So I thought I'd last maybe a week after that, tops, without the motivation. But I think with the power from me crystals and stuff like that, I've just powered through it. I'm so impressed with myself. And as well as that, what else is it? Well, I feel like a new woman, to be fair. It's my birthday in less than 2 weeks. And I bought some clothes the other day and I actually felt so good in my clothes for the first time in my life. So I'm really excited to have a night out, celebrating with my friends, because I haven't had a night out since my Christmas party when I contracted COVID back in December. Fun times. Anyway, let's get cracking with this week's episode. So as always, sorry, I've got like rice cake stuck in my teeth. I've just had a salted caramel rice cake. Boring. Anyway, as always, I asked you what you wanted to hear from this podcast, and you were all so vocal this week. And the general consensus is that you want another bloody episode on the law of attraction and manifesting. Honestly, this might as well just become a bloody manifestation podcast. But anyway, let's go. Let's do an episode on gratitude and getting on that frequency of abundance and receiving. Okay, so take a quick moment right now where you are. Close your eyes, and for the next 10 seconds, take a few deep, easy breaths in and hold at the top. And then breathe out. And just gently breathe in. Allow yourself a few seconds and breathe out. And what I want you to do now is to picture yourself on a beach, holding hands with someone that you're deeply in love with. Now I'm going to go silent for 10 seconds just to allow you to do this. Okay, so that moment that you just experienced literally just shot out and instantly touched the furthest reaches of the universe. That's not an exaggeration, okay? It's a bit like when you're on the phone with someone and they're in a completely different continent, they're the other side of the world, they're in Australia, for example. Hi, if you are in Australia. But your phone will transmit the signal of your voice up to the satellite towers, up into space, and back down to the other person on the other end, and they hear what you say to them. I mean, yeah, sometimes there's a slight delay, but it's instant. It doesn't take weeks or months like a postcard. It's instant. And that's how fast your visualization of you on the beach there from a minute ago transmitted across the galaxy. So think about this. You might not consciously notice it happening, but it is happening. It's like a dog whistle or a TV remote. You won't hear any sound coming out of the dog whistle, and you don't see any rays of light coming out of the end of the TV remote. But every dog around you will react anyway to the sound, and the TV will happily change its channel because something is definitely transmitted. So it must be there, yeah? It's just on a frequency of vibration that your senses aren't designed to detect or interpret in your reality. And this is so important. If you could actually perceive everything that's truly going on around you, you'd probably go insane from like sensory overload. And not just for tangible things like the sound from a dog whistle or the light from a TV remote, all other energies of the universe. So many of which like match the frequency of things that you want, they are also literally swirling together right now, just outside the boundaries of physical reality and your physical senses. And they're ready to materialize the moment that there's enough momentum. You can't see them yet and you can't feel them yet. You're not experiencing them yet, but they're with you right now. They're all vibrationally aligned where you are and the moment that you think about them. So each one begins by sending out a kind of a beacon, into space, the second that you ask. and it's persistently reaching out to magnetize itself to anything that vibrationally matches the same frequency. We know now that energy is magnetic, so to speak, and like attracts like. So just remember, it's way simpler to manifest than you actually think it is. Some people overcomplicate things, and I get messages on the weekly basis like, Martin, my manifestations aren't happening. And when I'll ask them about it, and they actually tell me they're really, really overcomplicating it. And I know I've said all this before, but you're a bit like a radio in this way. You can only broadcast one station at a time, but you have access to every single station out there, just like a radio does. So once you're on the station that you need to be, the music will play all by itself for you. So now when we're talking about an actual radio, it's simply about you tuning into the other frequencies. But when it comes to manifesting what you want through the law of attraction, shifting into the frequency of what you want is technically just as easy and just as simple. You only think it's difficult because you're not used to doing it. It's like anything, like riding the bike for the first time. You'll always find it difficult, but then once you've learned how to do it, you put one foot on the one pedal, one foot on the other pedal, sit on the seat, and you wouldn't lose your balance unless you were going to have a crash or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're learning things, and that's the only reason that you find manifesting difficulty. But shifting into the frequency of what you want is really, really simple. So you will worry that you don't know how to do it, and then you'll wrongly assume that it can't be done for you. But you just need to know that your radio can always be tuned into another frequency. And all you've got to worry about is deciding where to put your focus. And remember that your point of power is always right now, okay? Everything you want in life is happening right now. You have the power to change everything inside of you right now. You don't have the power to change anything about your past. You've got the power to change everything about your future. Simple little steps that you can take right now that'll change your future. So let's think of an example. Have you ever noticed how time can seem to go really, really fast when you're enjoying yourself? Now, we all know this, don't we? But then it'll go really, really slow when you're miserable or you're at work sat behind your desk. So 20 minutes of getting a massage is always going to seem shorter than 20 minutes of having injections at the dentist, for example. Do you know what I mean? That's a crap example, but you get where I'm coming from. If you can think of any difference in how long each of those events seems to take, then that's proof on at least some level that time is actually just a mental construct in your mind. And rather than there being a past, a present, and a future, time itself is really only a reflection of an ongoing moment of what's actually happening right now. And you might be thinking, God, Mark, this is a bit deep and a bit out there and tough to grasp. But ask yourself how you think you'd react to being told the Earth is round if you had spent your entire life up until now believing that it was flat. Like, are you really able to hop into a rocket right now, fire off into space and prove the answer one way or the other? Do you have the money? Do you have the willingness or even the clearance from like NASA to do that? Or, on the other hand, do you just have to take it on faith and trust and face value that this really is how it is? You've got to be willing to see things in a new way without setting off that panic in your mind. You're not hopefully creating your future. It's already here. It's just a matter of needing to tune into the right frequency in order to have that experience of it. But whether you're tuned in or not, it's still all here and it's still all happening right now. If this isn't entirely clear for any reason, don't worry. It doesn't need to be clear in order for manifesting and visualization to work. You just need to know that you have access to a lot more power than you'll ever realize. In fact, like technically on a certain level, you have access to everything because we know now everything in the universe is energy, including you. And I'll bang on about this time and time again till you get it into your head. Here's an important little fact about energy that you might not have considered before now. And you probably have heard this a million times. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Now, all you can really do at any moment is transform energy, but it's already here, and it always will be, which means that everything that could ever exist in the universe already does, in this present moment of now. It might not currently be in the manifested form of the car that you've been wanted, or the love of your life, or the promotion that you've been going after, but it still all energetically exists and it's still all possible. It's still all here waiting for you in the potential. It's just waiting, ready to be pulled into reality through your point of attraction. And that means that everything that you want also already exists. Like every desire that you've ever had already exists right now. This isn't just me chatting shit. This is science. And experiencing what you want simply then just becomes a question of using the right techniques to energetically line up with and manifest it. It's as simple as that. But it's still just an energy construct. Like thoughts are an energy construct. Like I've just said, time is an energy construct. Money is an energy construct. Reality is an energy construct. Everything in this universe is an energy construct. So your pay rise at work, your car, your new boyfriend or girlfriend, your new, book deal, your new contract, your new house, your improved health, it's all just energy and it's all connected. Your whole life, you've been conditioned to believe that everything you want is out there and somewhere else in the world at another point in time. And ironically, it's your belief that in this separation from what you want, that reinforces the reality that you don't have it yet. So this includes your certainty in the concept of time, of getting what you want in the future versus already having it right now. And that's why things seem so much harder to get than they should. But there's no such thing as now or later to the universe. There's no such thing as big or small. And I've talked about this before as well, but to the universe, everything already exists. Manifesting a penny on the street is just as easy as attracting £1 million. Unfortunately, you've just been programmed for so long to see a distinction between big and small, and that hearing this information might sound silly or idiotic to you, especially the idea that time isn't really what you think it is. But again, if any of this is a bit challenging, that's okay. The universe is so abundant and powerful that you can still have everything you want without understanding basically how it's going to happen. In fact, I think if you realised how heavily the odds are already stacked in your favour, your head would probably spin. You are literally swimming in abundance. It's all around you. You just have to open your eyes to it and magnetise yourself to it. Get on that same frequency of it. Right now, in this moment, the universe is moving through every single person and every circumstance to give it to you. And that's all it wants to do. Countless things are already going really, really well for you, whether you see them or not. Even in moments of struggle, the universe is holding you up and keeping solutions just close enough for you to reach out and claim them. Do you ever have to worry if the sun will rise tomorrow? Like, do you ever wonder if the earth will continue to spin? Do you ever need to worry that you're going to run out of air? Or do you ever need to worry that you're going to run out of water in the world? Like, of course we don't. But how much harder would your life be if you did actually have to worry about them kind of things? Do you know what I mean? So fortunately, you don't have to worry. And just as your heartbeat is already being taken care of for you by your heart, so is that job promotion that you want that's way closer than you think. And it's just waiting for you to adjust your radio frequency that tiny, tiny bit. So just remember, this is the same universe that created this planet, the entire solar system, the entire galaxy, every star in existence, the birds that sing every morning, the cool breeze on the beach, the love of your life, your favourite song, and everything else. Okay? You don't have to worry about how it's going to happen. You don't have to worry about how it's going to deliver to you. There's a vibrational version of your love, your money, your new house, your new car, your health, your prosperity, your success, and everything else that you could ever want. It already exists right now. It's all here right now at your fingertips. And that raises the question, like, if you're literally swimming in an energetic pool of abundance, if everything you've ever desired wants you just as much, if there are infinite resources at your disposal, if the universe loves you and desperately desires to offer you anything and everything you could ever think of, then I can hear you saying it now. Martin, why hasn't anything worked out yet? You just need to get onto that frequency. You need to know that where this is going, don't you? Like, the quickest and easiest way to get onto that frequency, and here comes the G word, it's gratitude. The simplest way of doing this is by using gratitude and stacking that, okay? So you can manifest your desires and manifest exactly what you want. It's also a great exercise to do if you don't have a lot of time. Now, I use gratitude stacking pretty much every morning. So firstly, you would just write out a list of things that you're grateful for, as per usual, and then you're going to read through each item on your list. But as you're reading them one at a time, you're going to just take 30 to 60 seconds or however long you personally prefer to really feel the gratitude of whatever it is that you're describing. Now, I know we did the 5-6-30 method last week in last week's podcast. If you haven't listened to it, go and have a listen now. And that is a really, really good example of a gratitude stacking method. So you're building on one idea and you're stacking that gratitude on top of it until you really feel that gratitude. But you need to take them 30 to 60 seconds or however long you personally prefer just to feel that gratitude. Because it's one thing writing it down, but writing it down isn't going to make any magic happen unless you physically feel that gratitude inside of you. So feel free to write down anything that'll give you that feeling of gratitude. Now, it can be a material possession that you own. It could be an event that you've been to recently that you really enjoyed. It could be a fun memory of someone or something. Just let your imagination soar and add anything that you're inspired to. If you're lacking a bit of imagination, I sell a £3. It's £3, you know what I mean? It's not going to break the bank. I sell a £3 downloadable workbook on my website. If you head to the downloadable content on my website, cannycrystals.co.uk, it's called 100 Days of Happiness, and it does exactly this. So if I asked you to list 100 things that you're grateful for, you'd probably struggle to get past 10 or 20, because once you've like, oh, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my partner, grateful for money, grateful for food, grateful for clothes, you'd start to then struggle, do you know what I mean? So I've designed this to really think about what you're grateful for in areas that you might not think about otherwise. And when you go through each item on your list, make sure you say it out loud if you're alone or if you don't mind your family thinking that you're stark raving bonkers. But if you're in a public place and you don't want to attract unwanted attention, you can just read it in your head instead, as long as you take time and spend a little bit of time on that, okay? As for how long this should take you, like I say, it's really up to you since you decide how big you want your list to be. But I tend to spend 30 to 60 seconds on each single one, okay? So you might have 100 things wrote down. You might just have 5 things. Or if you're really in a rush, you might only have wrote like 3 things down that day. Whatever you put down, you can list things that have happened in the past, things that you have now, or even things that you wish to have in the future. But regardless of when in your timeline, like I say, time is a mental construct. So whatever it is that you wrote, it should always be phrased in the present tense. And this is the same even for future events. You begin with wording similar to, I don't know, thank you for, or I'm so happy and grateful for, or I'm so happy and grateful now that, or I'm so thankful now that. So like I say, this is called the stacking method because you're stacking a bunch of things on top of one another in one big list of gratitude. The name also invites you to write larger lists when you have the time for them, since a list with more items will help you to get more momentum each time that you do a session like this. And the more that you pile on, the better you're going to feel. Now, the purpose of this method is really, really simple. Regardless of whether your list is big or small, this is going to serve as an easy way to guarantee you to at least to do something every day to express gratitude. And that's going to raise your vibration in the simplest way without it feeling inconvenient or being too time consuming. You know, because like if I told you to do something and I said to you, oh, you're going to have to do it and it's going to take you an hour a day, you're not going to do that. It's just not feasible, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We're all really, really busy people. We've all got individual lives and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure that this isn't inconvenient to you and it's too time consuming. Anyone can take out 60 seconds to write a few things that they're grateful for, no matter how busy their schedule is. Like I said before, my friend said that she didn't have 10 minutes to read in bed all the time. And before I knew it, she'd finished a book because I said to her, them 10 minutes will mount up and everything compounds. Do you know what I mean? Spending 10 minutes a day is what? 1 hour 10 a week. Do you know what I mean? It'll sharp mount up. 60 seconds a day is better than nothing. 10 minutes is even better if you can spare it. But since you get to decide how many things that you're going to write, you can be as thorough as you want without it feeling rushed or pressured. After you've given yourself enough practice with this, you'll just then begin to experience deeper and kind of more profound feelings of gratitude. You won't have to force them, and you shouldn't even have to try to either. They'll just come. So you'll start to see the positives in everything that happens in your day-to-day life. And that's the sole purpose of this exercise. It's really, really good for you. So when you do begin to experience it more deeply, it might feel like a warm buzzing in your solar plexus right in the center of your chest. Or it might feel like you're taking easier, calmer breaths. Or your skin might tingle a little, or your skin might even glow and look better. You might simply notice yourself experiencing a moment of peace and tranquility. There's no one right way that it might happen, but there's no way it has to happen. There's no way to predict how you'll specifically experience it for yourself, but you will if you practice gratitude. And yes, I know I've spoke about it before, but there are like books out there as well that do like gratitude and things on a daily basis that are like not workbooks as such, but like they're a 30-day program. So for example, The Magic is a perfect example of that, or Thank and Grow Rich. That's another one. It's like a 30-day program where every day it'll give you like a little challenge to think of 10 things that you're grateful for, or 3 people that you're grateful for, and you write 5 things about each of them, that kind of thing. So just give it a go. Try and get into the act of giving gratitude every day, and you'll see that, like I say, you will see gratitude all around you. You might be in the crappiest of situations, but you'll still be grateful that something else didn't happen. So last weekend, for example, my partner crashed our car. We have no bloody luck with this car, but he crashed the car, and I wasn't even angry at him. I was just grateful that he hadn't been severely hurt, if that makes sense. So, I mean, yes, it's a bit of an inconvenience, and we're going to have to pay like £400 or something to get the scrapes took out the side of the car. But I wasn't angry at him. I was just grateful that like he wasn't hurt. It could have been a lot worse. He could have been killed. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I probably was angry for like 30 seconds. And then I thought, well, at least he's okay. At least it's not bad. At least the car's not wrote off. I'm grateful that he's still alive. I'm grateful that he was protected. I'm grateful he was wearing his seatbelt. I'm grateful that we've got insurance. Do you know what I mean? So you've just got to always see the gratitude in things. And doing a gratitude practice like this daily will help you to see that. So don't worry about getting yourself up to some higher state of gratitude in order for things to begin manifesting. You just need to know that gratitude is putting you on that frequency of receiving. Okay, so still manifest, still put your manifestations out there, but you will receive when you're on that frequency. So give that a try next time if you have a few minutes just to add some gratitude to your day and have fun. And like I say, check out the 100 Days of Happiness, it's called, on my website. Right, let's see. Oh my God, we're at 26 minutes. Right, well, let me know what you want to hear from me next on this podcast. Like I say, I mean, it's your podcast at the end of the day. I'm just the one doing all the gassing. So anyway, if you do want to drop me a message, you can contact me on TikTok or Instagram. And both of my handles are @CannyCrystals. All links are in the show notes below as well. You can follow my personals if you want. They're a bit crap. They're a bit naff. I don't really put much on my Instagram anymore. I tend to just use my stories, to be totally honest. And I don't tend to use my TikTok anymore either because I'm just always working. But if you want to look at them, they're in the show notes as well. They're both @MarkTweedy. But yeah, don't forget to drop us a review, please, as well. Or even just a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really does help me out. Like I say, podcasting is free, but that really, really helps me out. And I'm always truly thankful and grateful for everything that you all do for me. Thank you again for joining me anyway, and don't forget to do your releasing work today with the full moon as well. So the full moon was at its height and its peak at, I think it was like 7:18 this morning. So yeah, just make sure you do your releasing work. If you don't know what I'm on about, check over to my TikTok or Instagram for more details. I've put a video on earlier this week. And don't forget to also check out my website, like I say, cannycrystals.co.uk. Have a super amazing week, everyone, and I'll see you all next Friday for another episode. Thanks, everyone. See you next week. Bye. Come and join me in the Manifest with Mark community. For just £10 a month, you'll get exclusive access to my app, and you'll join all the other beautiful souls in the Canny community, where each day you'll be held accountable to making your dreams and desires come to fruition. You'll also be set daily and weekly challenges. There's a chat room built in so you can talk to people in real time, And you can also pop over any questions that you have in the Q&A forum and I'll answer them for you. It's changing people's lives, and we've already had so many people manifesting things in the first 2 weeks alone. Each new moon, I'll also be going live within the group on a face-to-face video to help you get the most out of the lunar cycles, as well as answer any burning questions that you have. And these live meetups are so powerful, and everyone in the group has had nothing but praise for the safe space that we share. There are very limited spaces for this community, however, just to ensure that I can place my focus on you and nurture you into the ultimate manifester. So if you'd like a spot, please be quick and reserve your seat now. Head to cannycrystalsacademy.co.uk and choose the Manifest with Mart option, where you can get instant access, and what's more, you'll also get access to all of the past recordings and chats too. Join now and start living the life of your dreams.